Hi guys, it's Beth with Bourbon Creek Crafts back with Scrapping for Less today. And today I am working with the May Flavor of the Month kit. And I'm using a sketch today to make a card, and it's from Sunday Stamps, and it's sketch number 56. And I'm going to take the sketch, but I'm actually going to make a triple shaker card, just kind of using that layout. So I have my shaker elements here, and as they're tiny, and so I tried really hard to get the shaker windows to pop up with foam, but I couldn't get my foam cut thin enough, either the foam or the foam tape. I couldn't get it to work. So I ended up taking a circle punch and then using a scallop circle to cut a frame out of heavy duty white cardstock. And I just did that, like, I think I ended up doing it 15 times. So there's like 4 or 5 layers, I think, on each of my shaker windows. So the first 2 I already had done, so you guys didn't have to sit through and watch all of that. And basically I took my acrylic, or my clear acrylic piece there, and put it underneath my top layer of the scallop frame, and then just used my art glitter glue to add all the different layers. And then I wanted to use the ribbon that came. I'm using paper from collection number 3, which is Weather This Together, and then a stamp set from collection number 4. And so I wanted to use that ribbon that came with this rainbow collection. And I'm going to use it as like the stripes, kind of the crossing stripes that go on the card. And then I'm using that rainbow stripe pattern paper for my card mat, and then the turquoise cardstock that came in the kit as my card base. So I'm trying to figure out how I want my ribbon, where I want it to be placed, and I do use a little bit of score tape on the front to hold it in place, and then I also use score tape on the back to adhere it down. And then my card mat is cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and that will leave a small turquoise border from the card base around my card mat on the card. And it is an A2 size card. So I'm just making sure that it's going to lay out okay, and I do use another little piece of score tape on the front to make sure my ribbon lays flat. And then I'm adding some score tape on top of the ribbon on the back of my card mat, just to make sure it's going to adhere to my card really well where the ribbon lays. So once I get my ATG on and peel the backing off my score tape, I can put the mat on my card. And now I'm just trying to figure out the placement for my shaker windows. And I did use like the full scallop. I did cut an extra of the few white scallop circles to place directly on my card, so I have a resting spot for all of my little shaker windows. And then I'm just using that giant scallop circle punch to hold everything down. If anybody has any tips on how to do these tiny shaker windows using foam, would love to hear it, because I really struggled with the foam, so just went with a whole bunch of cardstock layers. So I'm using the sequins that came in the kit as well, and I believe they were part of the banana split level. And then I pulled out my anti-static tool there just to make sure that the sequins don't stick to my little windows, and then I end up overfilling a couple of them, so they kind of stick anyway, but more sequins makes it more fun, right? So just trying to figure out how many I can fit on these tiny little circles. And then we'll go ahead and use my art glitter glue again to glue those down. And I do make sure to line up all the little scallops on that bottom layer with my shaker window. And then brought back that big punch again to weight down my windows so that they can dry. And then I stamped "You Are Awesome" from that little lady stamp set that came in collection number 4. And then I also have a strip of turquoise, it's like turquoise on one side, from the pattern paper from collection number 3. And I'm just creating a matted fishtail layer here for my sentiment. And then I'm going to try and figure out where I want to put it on the card. It's like I didn't love it in the middle, but it didn't seem to fit well at the top or the bottom. So I go ahead and go back to the middle and just use my art glitter glue to adhere that down and let that dry. And then I bring in a small circle punch, I believe it's 1/2 inch, for some circle elements at the top right of the card, like the card sketch called for. And I decided to go with a bigger circle just so you could see it on that rainbow striped pattern paper. And so I'm just trying to figure out, since they are bigger, how I want to lay them out, and especially since my sentiment's there in the middle, end up just using 2 of them. And that is the same pattern paper that I use to mat my sentiment with. And that's my little triple shaker card. You are awesome. So thanks for your time today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the card, and we'll talk to you soon.